Hey, wet dog. Hey, other doggy. Most of the time, you need to put this as high as you can reach, unless the trees are really close together. That way you can get it to have an appropriate amount of sag that you want. So, I don't have to go quite my full height, but I can. And just screw that thing down. It doesn't have to be all the way tightened. You don't want to crank it like crazy, but just so it stops right there. Normally I would do a bowline to the tree. That's how I do it. But I'm making it easier for you. So, and then what we have here is a Blake's hitch. You don't have to know that. That's just what's being used. So there's two separate ropes. There's one little short rope here, and that's what makes the Blake's hitch. And then this other piece here. And so basically you can just squeeze this thing and pull it up to adjust. And put some of the hammock out there. And you might have to walk back and forth. So when you're hanging these, you don't want them to be all the way straight and like completely. You don't want it to be completely tensioned. You want supposedly a 30-degree angle, which you'll just get used to whatever you like. But I don't know if you can see, this thing just slides on that rope. And if it gets too tight to undo, you can just push on, let's see if I can see. You can just push on this just a tiny bit to get it started, and it'll slide up and down for you. So, and this is taller than I need it to be. You can put it pretty much almost to it's touching the ground, especially starting out, until you feel really comfortable with it. And then it's easier to get into. You can, I don't know if you can see on here how easy it is to just slide that. I moved the, I'm trying to set the height. I set it on the back of the tree there. So if you want it to be this tall, if you move the front of it up to that height, it's gonna go lower than that. If you move the back of the tree, it'll be at the height you want it at, the rope on the back of the tree there. And that's it. And then when you're laying in it, you don't want to lay with your feet and head directly in line with the tree. You actually want to lay on a diagonal, and that lets you lay flat in the hammock. You might already know that. And supposedly different than what you hear normally, but if you got one height that if one of the tree anchors is higher, the rope's higher on one side, that's where you want your feet to be. You want your head to be slightly lower than your feet. And I think that's about it. Normally it would be a bowline knot, spelled like bowline, B-O-W-L-I-N-E, bowline knot to the tree, but we just have these little quick links, they're called. That way you don't even have to worry about tying a knot. And then it's adjustable using a Blake hitch. I don't know, you don't really need any more information than that. And then I put little tags on this saying not the tree side, so this part doesn't go to the tree. It's the opposite end from the tree. And when you go to put it up, so it's easy to put it together next time, you can just push on this a little bit to get it to loosen up, and then slide it all the way to the end, and then that way it's ready to go if you have trees that are pretty far apart. Further apart the trees are, the higher that you need this to be. But basically you just throw this little thing up on it, around the tree, screw it down, and then use the Blake hitch to, and once again you don't need to know what a Blake hitch is, but use this little guy to adjust it so it's tight enough so it's not hitting the ground. About a 30 degree angle is what they say is the most comfortable for most people. And that's the angle between the hammock here and the ground. But where you going, dog? Good doggies. Good doggies. And I'll show you this. I meant to show you, I wasn't thinking about it, but how I put the ropes up so they're nice and neat. It's kind of like folding a sheet. So undo that. Screw this back just in case it could slip off the knot on the end. Right? And then you're going to slide this thing. And if it's locked up, like, see, it's kind of hard for me right there. You just push the part that comes from the hammock into itself a little bit, and that'll loosen the knot enough that you can just slide it to the end with a tag on it. All right, so the way that I like to put up the ropes, and it keeps it least amount of tangled, you bring the ends together just like a sheet. Bring the ends together again, bring the ends together again, and that might be hard for you to tie a knot in, so you don't have to do it that short. And then I just put a basic knot in itself. I'm not gonna do it as tight so you can see it easier, because it's kind of hard to see with all those loops, but they just will pass in on themselves. Boom, just like that, and then that's ready to be packed up. But I'll do it so you can see. It's called an overhand knot, but it's the same knot everyone does. If you don't know a knot, this is the knot you do. You just, you know, come around and back through itself, and that'll keep it from being all tangled. You can do another one if you want. Okay. And then I don't tuck it from the spot closest to the hammock first, because it ends up binding, or closest to the pouch or pocket, because it ends up, you try to push it in and it won't go. Like if you go right on this spot, it's like you're trying to push it in, but it's pulling against itself. So I go somewhere almost to the ends. I like to leave the rope out just so it's easier to set up the next time. But you just stuff it, and actually they say that stuffing it is better for it than even folding it, because the fold leaves creases. I mean, that's just, you really don't need to worry about that because these things are strong and durable enough. But some people have a problem with the idea of just stuffing it in there, but that's what they say is the best thing to do for the material. Some people might say something different about that. If you roll it, that might be better, but and then that's ready to go. You can leave these out and hanging, or you can stuff them at the top. Bo, where you going, dog? Hey, Jazz. Hey, dogs. Hey. Hey. Good doggy. Good doggy. Up, up. Come here. Come here. Come on. Good dog. Good doggies. Good doggies. Good doggies. Okay. Hey, good dog. Way to check back in. I like it.